if we go to our contacts, right? Because now we have this spreadsheet, it's clean, everything's done. Let's go ahead and close all these extra tabs that we have because we're done with the email checker. We're done with pretty much everything. We can go ahead and close this too. Um, well, we have contact. We might have some, we might have none at all, right? But what we want to do is basically just import. So what we're going to do right now is make sure it's selected on the contacts. And I know we went over this yesterday, but this is actually, we're going to upload this entire list right now. And we're going to follow this step by step. Okay, that is right here. So again, we went to menu, we went to contacts, we clicked import contacts. We're going to upload the CSV and we're going to click next. So if I go back over here, contacts, we're going to go ahead and click next. We're going to upload this CSV and I think it was this one. And then we're going to make sure it's how to import is create and update contacts. And we can just leave this. You can't modify it. We're going to hit next. So right away, you'll see that the address is already mapped. City is mapped. State is mapped. Zip code is mapped to postal code. Building square feet. We do need to map it to our version, which is square feet 2.0. Loan one balance we have here. So we're going to put loan and you're going to find loan one balance 2.0. This one says type. So we're going to type and then loan one type 2.0. And then we have rate. So we'll go ahead and put it loan one rate. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing because I think this list was from PropStream. So we have other data, other loan types. If you were just doing batch, then you only need to set, it's not going to be loan one balance. I think it's going to be total loan balance and loan type and loan estimate. So just keep that in mind. These labels may be different, right? Depending on where you get your data from. But at the end of the day, we do need to map them accordingly to these specific mapping fields. So if we go back here, again, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to say to, so this is loan two, and then we're going to type that. And then this is what type. I'm going to type in type and get the 2.0. And then we're going to get rate again for loan two. And then we're going to get the balance again. Let's see if it lets me do that. So loan three balance. And again, we're just repeating the same exact thing over and over. I know some people like to rename these headers to BILT version, either on a spreadsheet or they modify the ones inside of BILT to be the same name as, let's say, PropStream. So these automatically can map, right? So you don't have to do this every single time. But for this example, you guys have the default BILT version, which is not modified towards PropStream or batch. It's just general. So again, we're going to just finish these ones up, type, and that's loan four type, rate, loan four rate. And then, so here we go at the bottom, estimated value, total monthly payments, monthly rent. Well, estimated value is ARV 2.0. And then you have estimated total monthly payments. I believe this is estimated PITI, yes. And again, notice how it says if applicable. It means your data might not have it. It's not mandatory for us to determine what type of offer to give out, but it's nice to know. Same thing with the rent, right? Estimated rent, if applicable, because sometimes PropStream batch leads, they give you that data. MLS amount. And guys, like if this is direct to seller, it's essentially the same thing here. Okay. There's not really any difference. But asking price is going to be 2.0. And then agent name will just be name. Phone number is going to be phone. And then, yes, if you had additional phone numbers, if you were doing direct to seller, you could select additional phones as well. But we're not talking about that right now. So email is email. We don't need the status, but we do need the on market, right? So here, on/off market. And then this will be under property type. Choose to do it. And then if this one's going to be 2.0, on off market 2.0. So now that we have everything inside of here completely mapped, again, if you make a mistake on any one of these loan ones, you're not going to know what your real equity is. And therefore, if we don't know what the equity is, it's hard to determine what type of creative finance deal it is. So just make sure all this is entered in correctly. Again, you have the ability to change the headers of this to be exactly the same as what's in our system, or what's easier, and I think what most people end up doing is they just change the names of these in our system to match prop stream or match batch, right? So you don't have to keep mapping them every single time. So for now, we're just going to click don't import the two unmapped columns because we don't care about the past and we don't care about what phone type it is. We already cleaned it up, right? And we don't need it in our system. So we're going to go ahead and click next. Now, here's where we need to add the tags. And again, here you want to put in agent because, well, who are we dealing with here? An agent. If it was a seller, you put a seller. Now, the reason why we put agent as well is because this list simultaneously will be put into a long-term follow-up for Pocket listings if you want that automation on. Now, by default, it is on. You have the ability of turning it off. But also at the same time, it helps us organize ourselves in the acquisition pipeline as well. We know who that contact is, what type of relationship they are. So the relationship here is an agent. We forgot to mention one thing. So I'm actually not going to throw them into the workflow right now because there is a prerequisite with the new leads and we mentioned this yesterday, but I want you guys to make sure that you guys do this before you upload your list. So for now, we can keep the tag. I like to also put a tag in here to reference the list. So let's say this was the Houston list. And for now, I'll put test. And then I like to also put in a date. So what this does is it kind of lets me know, well, where'd that list come from, right? That contact or something. So let me do that again. I forgot to save it. Test, and I'll just leave it at that for now. So now I know where they came from. This contact came from at all points in time. Usually we would go ahead and add and import them directly into the workflow, and the workflow would be New Leads 2.0 or a variation of that if you duplicate it or cloned it for your team. But this is what you would usually do. But since some of you guys probably didn't update the new leads, we're going to skip this step and add them later. Does that make sense, everyone? This is what you would usually do when you upload your list, but right now we're going to skip it to verify something. So once again, we're going to scroll down, just make sure everything's good, and we're going to check I confirm and start bulk import. Now, that is going to upload, that is going to import into the system. It could take however long it needs. It'll show up in your bulk actions right here. It might upload them right away, or it might take a few minutes. It just depends on how much data you have. This is probably the few times that you're going to need to go inside your automations, especially when you first get set up, or maybe you add a team member. But basically, you want to go inside of BILT 2.0's automations, and you want to go to the acquisition pipeline right here and click on the one.new leads. Once you get inside here, you'll notice when I click on this, there is an assign to user field. So remember how yesterday we went ahead and created a user for our marketing email? Well, those are the users that you need to put here, right? You need to stack all your marketing emails or marketing user accounts here so it equally distributes the load of your LOIs. So you don't get into issues of compliance later on, sending too many emails from one domain and so forth, right? This also splits them up where if let's say you had a phone number set to those accounts as well, it would also split them up there. So again, it eases the burden on one phone number, eases the burden on one email or domain account, and allows it to split equally. But let me just show you how to rerun them, right? In case you had to go back and whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead and select based off of Houston, right? Because that was my test, right? That was the tag that I wanted. And there's 28 records, right? And so what I want to do is just select them all, select all of them right here, and select all 28 records. Make sure you're selecting all of them. Go to this little robot, click on OK, proceed, search the workflow, new leads 2.0. And again, you might have made a duplicate and named it something else. And then we can put whatever we want in here. For example, right now, I'll just put Houston test, right? And then you're going to keep it all at once, and we're going to click add to automation. What this will do is do the same thing it just did right now. which was it threw it into the opportunities, into the new untouched, right? And essentially, if you click on this, and hopefully I did it right earlier, I feel like I missed something, but what we should see in the acquisitions is all the values, and it tells us what deal type this property is. And so it looks like we did upload it correct. And so we know everything that's going on with the purchase price, the seller finance, the mortgage balance, additional cash down, maybe your first offer's cash down, discount cash offer, your regular cash offer, EMD, assignment fee, percentage, equity, blah, 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 right? All the details you need to evaluate a deal, plus it's already evaluated certain parts of the deals as well. And so we know this deal is a hybrid, but maybe, for example, you don't want it a hybrid. You could always switch it right here. But that's the basis of how to get your data into the system, how to upload it,